Hello, happy Monday. Welcome on into Let's Bet It. It's a Monday, still fun day. Lauren Jabara here with Jared Smith, Jim Monis. Jared, how you doing today?
Fired up.
I know you are.
You've already heard most of the rants during our pre-show amble, but this has been it was a rough night for Browns backers, and we'll get to it in a little bit, but rough one.
Yeah, Jim, you were talking Jared off the ledge this morning. How are you feeling on this Monday, still fun day?
So I had some anger for a Monday Still Fun Day as
Yeah,
well, and I had a
let it
really good
out.
day. I had a really good day yesterday, but my anger was, and I asked Jared this to help me understand how the best team in football, the Green Bay Packers, are home dogs to a team
Uh,
who is a disaster right now. And I just trusted Vegas. I said, okay, I get it. The Rams something's going on in this game. I'll take the Rams. And then we had fumbles and offsides and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, Jared and I had some good anger today.
yeah,
Well, hopefully we could get that out of the way because we have our Monday morning therapy. So all of our Pickswise Nation will help you guys also get through it together. We also have Market Correction Monday, MCM. We're starting off the show with that, and then we cannot end without our Monday Night Football picks. Pickswise 3-star play of the day and our best bets of the day. Before we start, I want to make sure everyone is liking, subscribing, and commenting because we are live every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern time, 7 days a week to give you our bets, to break down every single sport. So it's going to be awesome to have you here every day. We want you commenting in the chats. We want you giving us your picks. We want you telling us what you like about our picks, what you dislike about our picks. So hit that subscribe button. I still don't know if it's on this side or that side, but
smash that like button and
yeah,
subscribe.
like, subscribe, comment. All right. Let's start out with a little MCM, not Man Crush Monday, Market Correction Monday. Every Monday, we're always seeing how the market overreacts after some of the games. We had a lot of games on Thursday this week, a few yesterday and Sunday. Let's check in on some of the Super Bowl moves. Packers to win the Super Bowl, 10-1 to about 7.5-1 odds, Jared.
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, I gave out Packers at the
Mhm.
price. I think it was like somewhere right around 10 or 11-1, and then 7-1 to win the NFC. Listen, they're 10-2 against the number. They're gonna get back three key pieces: Alexander, Smith, and Bakhtiari. Smith and Alexander on the defensive side, and Bakhtiari as arguably one of the best left tackles in the league. And I think Green Bay is still a buy. I think them and Arizona right now are the two best teams in the NFC. I would say Tampa Bay. I would say those three. Those are the three teams right now that the list gets shorter every week. It was 5 Cowboys and Rams. Now I would probably put Dallas and LA kind of in that second tier. Now that top tier in the NFC for me are those top 3 teams. Arizona going to get Kyler Murray back this week. We'll see how healthy he looks. But Aaron Rodgers looks great. The defense looks really good. And again, you're getting those players back. So I think that number is going to keep shortening. Now Green Bay goes into the bye, and I think the Packers are still a buy for me.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the best teams in the NFL right now, and we saw why yesterday when they were taking on the Rams. And speaking of the Rams, Jim, in the midst of a 3-game losing streak now, they've moved a little bit, plus 850 to plus 1,000 to win the Super Bowl. What did you see from them yesterday?
I saw a team that's probably pretty nervous about what they just did this
Yeah.
offseason. They mortgaged the future for this
Yeah.
year and next year. They have 2 years to get to the Super Bowl, right? Or else that thing's getting blown up. McVay, Les Snead, gone. If they have to get to the Super Bowl. And they aren't close right now. And Jared, I know you might have talked about it too, but what's the health of Stafford? How healthy is he? Because he doesn't look right. They're running a 3rd and 1, and they're just throwing a fade down the sideline to Beckham. I mean, don't get me started on how many issues the Rams had yesterday. And you're sitting there watching Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. It's just incredible. There's a gap from him and every other quarterback right now in the NFL that he is on. He's playing maybe the greatest football he's ever played. He makes every hard throw look easy. He's phenomenal to watch every week. But I don't know, Jared, what do you think of the health of Stafford?
Well, I think it's bad, but here's another thing too. So the Rams right now are 7-4. And if they keep losing some games, that first-round pick that they have to send to Detroit keeps looking better and better as they keep drifting down on the standings. So there's issues right now, I think, with the Rams. And again, last week I kind of compared them to the Yankees, where it's like this, just all these, great players coming together. And it's different in baseball. You don't have to play like as a team as much. It's like one guy goes up and hits, and then the next guy goes up and hits. in football, if you're not on the same page, you are not going to look very good every week, especially on defense. And they've got a bunch of new defensive players, Von Miller. So it's not working right now. And there's a lot of other good teams in the NFC. We just gave you 3 of them, Green Bay, Arizona, and Tampa Bay, that I think are light years ahead, or at least one tier ahead of the Rams right now. And I think it's sink or swim really fast for Sean McVay.
Yeah, another team that was struggling a little bit after this week, despite them playing Thursdays, the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl, 10-1 to 12-1 odds. They had an overtime loss against the Raiders. Ruined my Turkey Day, Jabbar. I won the other 2 legs of it, barely with the Lions and a lot with the Bills. But you know what? A lot of penalties in that game. The Cowboys are now one of the highest penalized teams this entire season. Jared, what did you see from them?
Yeah, that game was tough to watch on Thursday.
Yeah. Yes,
there was more penalties than that.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Join the train of actually no. You don't get the vent about anything for a while. You do. Michigan just won.
Yeah, I know.
Michigan just beat Ohio State on
Saturday. I couldn't be happier, to be honest.
Yeah, you didn't. And actually, to be fair, during our Monday morning therapy, you haven't gotten a chance because you didn't do a show on Sunday, and this is your first show since Michigan. So you should get a chance to like glow about the Wolverines, and I can see it. Your pores, everything is just you're radiating.
Therapy will go there. I have one vent and one glow, so We'll get there in a second. Cowboys, Jared, what do you think?
Yes, Cowboys. tough little stretch for Dallas coming up. Now, granted, both them and New Orleans had the Thursday game, so it's not a short week for them. So there's no real advantage there rest-wise on Thursday, but I would say every game is a must-win for Dallas the rest of the year because, well, to be fair, the Eagles blew their chances of really getting back into the divisional race yesterday. But Dallas's defense has been the problem for me. They are like one of the worst defenses in the league, yards per play. And I think they were kind of skating by earlier in the year because their offense was overcompensating. But now Lamb and Cooper have been in and out of the lineup. Their offensive line's a little banged up. They're committing a penalty every play, it seems like. And it's not looking very smooth. And Dallas is going to have to be a little cleaner down the stretch if they want to win that division and get a home game.
Mm-hmm. Jim, what do you think about the Cowboys?
Well, that's what's so maddening. A couple of weeks ago, I agree. Their defense all year, yards per play, has not been good, but they hold the Chiefs to 19 points, and Dak didn't play well that game, and they should beat the Chiefs if Dak played his usual game, but he's coming off that injury. He didn't look right. And then they can't stop the Raiders. So it goes back to everything we're venting about. I mean, what are you going to do? I'm with you. The Chiefs right now the Cowboys right now do not look right on defense. It just looks chaotic. They do play fast. They play hard, but you got to have discipline. You got to have discipline.
Yeah, right now the Cowboys regular season wins totals at 11.5. Over 11.5 is plus 150. Under.
Although they have 2 games against Washington, but I'll be honest, like we're going to learn a little more about Washington tonight. That might not be those games might not be easy games. And they play the Cardinals down the stretch, who are still going to be in that divisional race. Like
no doubt.
So the NFC, because of the way how tight it is at the top with the Packers, like and the Bucks, I think those NFC teams are going to be battling it out for that number 1 seed until like the last week of the year. So a week 17 game, which is the second to last week of the year against the Cardinals, that's no cupcake. And then they play the Eagles in week 18 on the road, and Philly's probably going to be battling for a playoff spot. Yeah. So Dallas has Saints, Washington, Giants, Washington, Cardinals, Eagles, and they have to win 5 of those 6 to go over. No, under.
No chance. Yeah, it's under minus 200 right now. Over plus 150.
That's why. Yeah, that's probably why.
Makes sense.
Okay, one other team that's been looking really good the last few weeks, Patriots to win the Super Bowl. They're moving from 16-1 odds to 11-1 odds. It wasn't a perfect game against the Titans. It was good enough to get it done. There are definitely some things to improve upon down the stretch. Jim, what do you think about that?
Well, when we talk about there's very few really great coaches in the NFL, this is one team that is extremely, extremely over the top well coached. And you always feel good about taking those teams, especially getting late in the season. How healthy are they? They play lights out defense right now. And the quarterback is doing what they're asking him to do. I still can't believe I watched their games and come away saying, I think he's good. Not sure if he's good, but he's doing things the right way. I swear every game I watch with the Patriots, they drop 1 or 2 picks against Mac Jones. They did it yesterday. It's just, but he's doing what they need him to do. The offensive line's playing really well for the Patriots. Their running backs are very average. They're just try hard, bang ahead guys, not difference makers, but they get it done. Yes. Can the Patriots, if you ask me if they can win the Super Bowl, sure. I'm to the point where why not? I mean, you have Bill Belichick and a defense that's playing very well. That's a recipe for success come postseason. So, yeah, they can win a Super Bowl. Would I bet it? No.
They absolutely can win a Super Bowl.
But they absolutely can.
You ready to make a comparison, Jim? And this is when you were in the thick of your career during the scouting. The Patriots' first Super Bowl during the run when Brady was a rookie. Who are the top receivers on that team? I'm looking now. Troy Brown, David Patton. The running back was Antoine Smith. Like, what did they have? Great defense, great coaching, all the intangibles. They absolutely can. And they beat the Rams, the greatest show on turf that year. They absolutely can win another Super Bowl in this wild and wacky year in the NFL. And they're 11-1 now. Their number, I would say it's too short to bet on because it was like 40-1 like 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. But here's what I would do. They're going to be dogs against the Bills, most likely. Just bet a money line against the Bills. And if they win those games, that's when you can maybe get a little mechanical parlay and start to build some equity in New England. But they absolutely can win the Super Bowl.
That pickup they made of Judon.
Yes, 100%.
Wow. Baltimore misses him badly.
Yes.
Jared, what are your thoughts on Mac Jones, O'Roy this year?
I mean, Chase's numbers have kind of leveled off a bit.
Yeah.
Actually, I was talking yesterday at the game. You know, Jalen Waddle's numbers look almost just as good right now. Waddle looks unbelievable.
Awesome. They finally found a way to get him going. Yeah.
100%. And Tua looks healthy. We can get to the Dolphins a little later, but I think like if I had to pick right now, first of all, if the Patriots win the division in a division with the Bills, considering they had a rookie quarterback, Jones deserves to be rookie of the year just for that feat alone. And I would give Belichick coach of the year just for that feat alone. Really? That is a huge unseat to take the Bills out of the top spot with a rookie quarterback. I mean, that is a big upset right there. So I would say Jones is the guy right now.
Oh, I like it. Jim, what do you think?
No, I agree with Jared. They have 2 games coming up against Buffalo. So that's going to really, that's going to give us a good indication of where they're at. And Buffalo has not really played well against teams like the Patriots this year. So it's going to tell us all we need to know. I'm still riding the Bills. I still think with that combination, that loss of Trey White, though, at corner for the Bills.
That's huge.
Huge. Yeah. It's killing
I'm fascinated. That game's next week. It's not this week. It's next week, I think, right?
No, they play twice. They play Monday night this week.
They play Monday night this week.
Here in Buffalo.
Has that line come out yet?
I think you're right. I think it's 3.
Yeah, it is 3. I mean, I would take 3 with New England there. We can talk about that next Monday, still fun day, but I would definitely take 3 with New England.
Okay, guys, every Monday we do our little Monday morning therapy. You grab your cup of coffee, straw or no straw. You can make a decision on that.
Deep
and
breaths.
we vent about the weekend. It's mostly bad. This weekend I have a little bit of good. A lot of good.
Give us the good first. Make us a little happy before.
No, I'll end with the good. You
okay, that's fair.
Bad so you end on a good note.
That's fair.
What NFL team is driving you absolutely nuts every time you bet on them? The one team that you could do all the stats, all the research, even those stats are for losers, and they still end up letting you down. Jared, I'll let you go first because you were pretty heated this morning.
I was so heated this morning.
So heated.
Thank goodness
you should have seen him on our pre-show meeting, you guys.
Oh my God. I was screaming.
I couldn't even get a word in. I was trying to
screaming. That's not true. You were absorbing it. If you would have wanted to speak, I would have shut my mouth. But I just had to.
We were fired up. I
just had to get it out. Last night's game between the Browns and the Ravens. Yeah. The Ravens had no business covering that game. Here's why they covered. First of all, this is the second consecutive week that the Browns blew a cover for me. Last week was against the Lions when this kicker McPherson missed an extra point and a field goal in the first half, and then the Browns just didn't score in the second half. They just said, you know what, we're good. We've got our 13 points. The Lions aren't going to get 14. We're just going to park the bus and pack it in. Well, last night they were behind 13-3. They got a very fortunate touchdown with Njoku. That it looked like it skipped off the turf. I don't know. Jerome Boger, who knows where his head is these days. But in the final 5-6 minutes of the game, the Browns were down by 3. They really should have been tied because McPherson missed another chippy in the first half. But Boger calls this bogus holding call on 1st and 10 after it would have been 2nd and 1 with 2:30 left. Lamar would have probably just sneaked it right across, take a knee 3 times. The Browns deserved to cover that game last night, but the game plan and just the overall, like Lamar Jackson threw 4 picks. How do the Browns not cover a game catching 4 when the quarterback on the other team throws 4 interceptions? The Browns are on my shit list for the rest of the year. That was a BS game plan. How does Nick Chubb only have 8 carries? I'm beside myself with the coaching, the organization. They had 12 men on the field after a timeout on defense on 4th down. Someone has to get fired for that.
That's not good.
Rant over. Deep breaths.
Take a breath. Take a sip of water.
Freaking Browns. And I wore Browns orange today. I don't know why I picked this shirt out. That was not a great idea. Should have worn like black for my mood.
So, you know what I love about therapy? You know, we started this weeks ago when I needed therapy about Kirk Cousins, right? Mm-hmm. And you guys helped me through it, and I started betting on them again. And
Kirky had a day yesterday too.
I didn't touch that game yesterday, but it taught me that, hey, if your spouse cheats on you, it's okay. Bring them back. Bring them back. That's what therapy.
Give him a third, maybe a 4th.
That's like we said. Chloe did it with Tristan. I did it with Kirk. It works.
It is.
So therapy has helped me take your spouse back if they cheat. But what I can't figure out is the Chargers right now. And I didn't bet on them yesterday. Alex actually was on the Broncos and kind of talked me out of that yesterday on our Sunday show. And I'm like, I'm with you. I'm kind of just scared to take the Chargers every week. Yeah. They can't stop the run. They can't rush the quarterback. So what are they doing on defense? And the head coach, I know that's what he's known for. We give Staley all this credit for being, innovative, smart with the rules. I'm starting to really wonder what's going on that defense, and how are you going to win in the playoffs when you can't do anything on defense?
They're not a playoff team right now today.
And they don't throw the ball down the field. They don't take chances with Herbert. It's become very I don't know. It's just, and Joe Lombardi, their offense coordinator, I respect, worked with him in New Orleans for years. He went to Detroit, had a disaster with Stafford for a couple of years. Saints brought him back and then went to, the Chargers. But the same thing. He doesn't like to he's not opening that thing up and going down the field. He did that with Stafford too, where he just held him back. So I'm just scared to death of their games. I'm done with the Chargers. I'm not messing with their games.
Yeah. You talked about how he went to the Lions and had a horrible few years. Well, guess what? The Lions have been horrible my entire life.
That's right.
A few years.
I led you right into Detroit.
Here we go.
You segued me into my negative today. So I've had a few days to digest this. But the Lions losing on Thanksgiving in a game that they've played in since 1931 or something like that.
Yeah, since basically the NFL was born.
And guys, they lose like that every single week. They find a different way to lose.
They covered at least.
They covered barely by 1. It was Lions. I took Lions +3 and they lost by 2. I covered by I still lost that Jabbar lay. I should have bet it separately, but you know what? I sprinkled it on the Lions money line too, because I'm like, you know what? These are the 2 worst teams in the NFC. There's a chance. You're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
3rd week this season that they've lost on a last-second field goal. They lost to a 66-yard Justin Tucker field goal and a 55-yard field goal. Now they lose to a little chip shot that I could have probably made.
No, stop. Those kicks are hard. You couldn't have made that.
But you know what? I am just Jim. How many chances do you give your ex after they cheat on you? Because now it's been 12 weeks.
No,
technically 11 with the bye.
Yeah, that's what
they're
I'm saying.
They're 7-4 against the spread this year, though. They're covering games.
I know, but guess what? When you're betting their money line, Jared, because you want to root for your team and you want them to win straight up,
I would stop betting the money line.
It's not good for you.
The money line.
You stop betting the money line.
The odds will tell you. Okay, they haven't won a single game this season. At some point, they're going to win.
It's gambler's fallacy. Don't do it. Don't fall into that trap. We talked about this over the weekend. 100 tails in a row. The next has to be heads, right? No.
It has to be.
No.
It has to be.
Lauren, here's a question.
Don't fall into it.
Here's some more anger for you. Would you have rather them think about they passed on Justin Fields or Mac Jones and took a right tackle?
You're gonna send her down a rabbit hole. Don't do that, Jim.
Here's the thing: it's every single year. We never I have not understood our draft picks for my entire life.
The Sewell kid doesn't look like a star at all. He looks like he's
not a difference maker. He's not going to change your franchise.
Slater is. Jim, you would know this better. Like when you're evaluating these kids, at what point is the separation? You're like, all right, I see the separation. I think the same exact thing is going to happen this year in this draft between Hutchinson and Devereaux, the kid from Oregon. Don't get me wrong. The Oregon kid looks like and that might not be his name. I'm sorry. I think that's his name. Devereaux,
I know who you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, Thibodeau. Sorry.
Thibodeau.
The Oregon kid is a difference maker, physically. But did you see Hutchinson's interview after the game? Mentally, that is the kid I want. Invest in. But there's going to be GMs that are going to look at Dever or Thibodeau and be like, "Yup, he's got the physical tools." But you see this in the league a lot now. This matters a lot more than it should, maybe than some. At what point you're the mental side matters more than the physical side?
I think for position especially, you really
Not
have
for
to
an offensive tackle?
Oh,
or
for offensive tackle, for sure.
Defensive lineman?
Defensive lineman, you have to be a straight animal. Just be an animal. However you want to do it, you're good.
Yeah. Here, Jack, our producer, just posed a question. This was actually going to be my next point. Swift going down with the shoulder injury. I mean, I think that if he was in the game, the Lions could have won that game.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I mean,
he was looking really good.
He did.
He's their best player right now. He's their best player.
They have nobody.
He's their best player. Hands down, he's their best player.
Literally have nobody.
He's their best
player.
They
have nobody.
Yeah, he's their best player.
For a team like the Lions, you guys, in the draft next year, do you go for a new quarterback?
Yes. Yes. 100% yes. But here's the problem. This is not a great draft for quarterbacks.
And this is where it goes. And this is how you get when you pass on guys like Fields and Mac Jones. That's what I'm saying. For a right tackle.
You take Matt Corral, who can't get through a year in the SEC. You think he's going to get through a year in the NFL?
Every year. Literally, guys, I'm not kidding you. Every single year we take a tackle. I don't know how, we probably have 8 tackles on our team right now. I don't understand. Every year.
I mean, I'm not down on Matt Campbell. You can't get down on Dan Campbell this early. It's only 1 year. But
that defense the other day was poorly coached.
Some of the play calling, though, I'm a little concerned about it this past game.
Yeah. Listen, the coaching this was one of my the coaching in this league has never been worse. Mm-hmm. It's every year and when I say the product looks bad, that means that when you're watching the game, there's so many stops and starts, penalties, turnovers, bad things that are just wait, why did the coach decide to call this play and to run this? That's what I mean when I say the product is bad. Obviously the games are exciting, the endings. Yesterday's game, we were at the Giants game yesterday. It was one of the worst games I've ever watched, but the last 2 minutes was exciting because it was close and there was a chance for the Eagles to win. But the product, the overall quality of the game from start to finish, the polish has never been worse. It gets worse every year. And that's coaching. That's organization. That's, fluidity between, each play, getting in and out of the huddle, what you're calling. It's just I can't explain it. These guys get paid millions. I don't get it.
I like that we just bashed coaching and front office, every single thing you can just destroy in the NFL, because honestly, there's no exact science to this thing.
True.
I had a friend tell me once, think about it. Football was created in phys ed class. I mean, these guys should be, they could be phys ed teachers, but now they're getting paid millions to run a football team. And I'm not knocking phys ed teachers. I'm just saying this thing isn't an exact science. And that's why it's so fun for us to disagree on, or, disagree with.
Look at the teams that do it best every year. It seems as though they have a stable quarterback that understands things. And that quarterback doesn't need the coaches.
That's the only thing that matters in the NFL.
Right? Brady doesn't need Byron Leftwich, who's younger than him, to get him in and out of the huddle and to get – Aaron Rodgers doesn't need Matt LaFleur. That. So it just shows you that as bad as the coaching is, if you have a really good quarterback, you can overcome all of it.
100%. Yeah.
Speaking of good quarterbacks, let's head to Monday Night Football, shall we, people? Taylor Heineke. I'm high on him right now. Taylor Heineke and the team, the Washington football team, taking on Seattle. It's going to be an exciting game to finish up Week 12. I love Week 12 because it's stretched out with all of the Thanksgiving game, with all Thanksgiving games. You got Sunday, then you got Monday. It's just a good week. It's a good week.
Feels good.
Today's a tough day, though. The Monday after Thanksgiving is historically a rough day for the the general public.
The public.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe we'll turn the tide this year, Jared. We'll
Let's do
turn
it.
the tide. How about that? Okay, let's get into some of our bets heading into tonight. Who wants to go first? Raise
Go
your
ahead,
hand.
Jim. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, okay.
Start us off.
I'm going. So, look, okay, let's talk about this. I wanted to talk about you guys with Seattle right now. I'm sure you guys were big fans of the show Very Cavallari with Jay Cutler.
Oh, yeah, my favorite show.
And Kristen Cavallari, where you could see the divorce was coming a mile away. They just weren't comfortable together anymore. You saw it. It was sad, but you could see it coming. That's what's happening in Seattle right now. And we can see it coming a mile away with Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. It's time to be over. It's hard to watch. They're not good on defense anymore. They struggle. They can't protect Russell. All the stuff he was upset about, they're still 31st in offense sack percentage protecting him. It's a disaster. Mm-hmm. I love Russell Wilson. Okay, and if I was the Giants, whoever, go after these guys. Go after Russell next year. If you have draft capital, go get him. He still can play. He's going to really he's going to give a great effort tonight. I just don't think they're a good team right now. And I think Washington's playing very well. They're running the football. Heineke is everything we were just talking about at quarterback.
Love him now.
Right. He's not physically gifted, but he's so gifted mentally, toughness, just getting the team loves him. So you're going to get a great, you're betting on a tough quarterback at home tonight against a team that I think's done heading the other way. I like Washington tonight. A prop I like is Gerald Everett, though, for the Seahawks to go over 26.5 receiving yards because Russell will dump it off to him. He is kind of a safety valve if he doesn't have time, and Everett's very good after the catch. So if they run a little tight end screen, he can make a guy miss, and he'd get that in one catch. So those are some things but I am looking at Washington football team and I like the money line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, public's on Seattle. Lines moved heavily in favor of Washington. Open 3.5. I'm seeing a pick 'em now. I even see Washington favored by a penny in a couple of spots. So I would be very, very cautious betting Seattle.
Now you scared me.
Do not bet Seattle tonight. If I don't know if Lauren, is that your play of the day?
No.
All right, good.
That's not my play of the day. Okay, Jared, give me your prop bets for tonight.
Good. I just looked at your play of the day. I like it a lot. All right. I'm speaking of Washington. I think their offense is this is a really good spot for their offense, I think, because as we've talked about, Seattle's defense has been really bad. So I picked out a couple of guys that I think might, lower tier guys that are not the top tier that might have an interesting game. So J.D. McKissick is the third down back for Washington. I think he's an undervalued guy every week because I think Washington, especially if it is going to be a wide open kind of game where Seattle's going to not run the ball and just try to throw it a bunch of times, I think Washington's going to have to answer. And the Seahawks allow the most receiving yards in the league to running backs this year and 8.7 yards per reception. So McKissick at 26.5 receiving yards feels like a very low number. Yeah. So I'm going to go over there. Logan Thomas back tonight for the first time since week 3. I know you like him. That's your guy, Jim. So it's his first game since week 3. In his first 3 weeks, he scored 2 touchdowns in the 3 games. Great. He's like one of their big red zone threats. Seahawks third most fantasy points allowed to tight ends this year. I got almost 3-1 on an anytime touchdown with Logan Thomas plus 290. So those are my 2 prop bets tonight. I would say if I had to bet this game from a spread perspective, Washington is definitely the side, but I think the line's moved a little too much to where it's not like a best, I have to get all my chips in the middle, but I might still put a little bit of equity on Washington tonight. There's actually an interesting same game parlay on the Pickswise site that involves Washington and Heineke that I really like. But McKissick over 26.5 yards, Logan Thomas anytime touchdown plus 290. Those are the 2 prop bets tonight. 1 plop in there for you, LJ.
Hello, ploppy. I know I got 2 plops today. But before that, questions from the chat. Lockett over 61.5 yards from the chat. What do you like?
Prop bet guy just gave that out. So yes, over.
Yeah? Over. Okay, what about Seattle, Washington under 40 points?
No.
The under sweats.
These defenses are trash, McTrash. I would, especially Seattle's defense.
Yeah.
And also, this is the year, this is it for the Seahawks. If they lose this game, I think it's their 8th loss. Forget it. Done. Yeah. But to be fair, Russell Wilson's finger, when I don't know if you've ever broken a finger before. I have. Throwing the ball in cold weather.
I broke my nail. I don't know if you could see that, but it's in my skin. And that hurts really. I literally am I just went to brush my hair and I'm like, it like sends like a shooting pain down your arm. I could not even imagine breaking a finger. I broke a nail. That sounds so like sissy of me, but like,
Well,
do you know what I mean?
So imagine trying to throw the ball and it's going to be like 35 degrees in
Yes.
Washington tonight for Russell.
No.
Like I would assume there's going to be some quackers, some quack little floaters for Russell tonight. So
Yeah.
I think they're going to be behind. I think they're going to be throwing it a lot.
You jam a finger and it lasts like 2 years. I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, we're old and not professional athletes, so maybe
Yeah,
these guys
that's
like
also
heal.
true.
Like Saquon
finger
Barkley's tore his
exercises.
ACL like 5 times and he's still running it every week. Like I don't know how he's done
That's
that.
true. I know. I really like Taylor Heineke over 240 and a half passing yards. I think, he's fresh off of one of his best games for Washington. I'm a big team fan now. Go team. Like,
Go team. Go
let's go
sports.
team. He threw 3 touchdowns, completed 72, almost 73% of his passes last week in a win over the Panthers. He only managed 206 yards in the air, but he cleared 250 yards in his previous 3 games before that. So I really, really like him this game for over that. And then you also talked about Seattle's defense and how they're kind of trash in general. So you know what? I'm all about that. But let me tell you my plops heading into tonight. Terry McLaurin over 5.5 catches at
that.
plus 112. I got that on FanDuel.
Love it.
You look at Seattle, they've struggled defending the pass this season. Jared, you talked about how they struggled defending the run as well. They're just struggling in general. Doesn't matter if it's pass or run. They're just struggling. So if Heineke's going to have a big game, his number 1 target is going to be my boy, Big T, Terry. Most likely it's going to.
He's an Ohio State guy. You know that, right?
I know, but you know what? Sometimes you got to put your fandom aside
It's true.
to win money. And I like
True.
a good plot.
And also, Ohio State's got nothing on you for a year at least. So you're
at least a year, at least.
good.
He's seen 7 or more targets in every game since week 1 this season, and he's made 5 or more grabs in 3 of his last 4. I think that, I think he's going to have a field day against Seattle, against their secondary, and I could see double-digit targets for the 5th time this season. So we'll see. I also like DK Metcalf. Anytime touchdown score at plus 110. I'm always
He's
looking
the guy
for
in the red zone for them.
I like that.
What do you say?
He's the guy for them in the red zone.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
He hasn't caught a touchdown since Russell Wilson returned to the lineup, but I think that's bound to change against Washington. And they allowed the 10th most passing yards in the NFL this season and the 2nd most touchdown passes at 24. Metcalf has 8 scores already this season. He hasn't gone 2 consecutive games without scoring until last week. I think a big play wideout is due. I think he's due to score in this game. So I'm looking for my value bets. DK Metcalf plus 110 anytime touchdown score, and Terry McLaurin over 5.5 catches at plus 112. I got both of those on FanDuel. Good value. We're buying it. We're feeling good about it. Cool.
Like it.
Yeah, DK's the man.
All right. We cannot end, guys, without our best bets of the day. So, Jared, who do you got for yours?
Well, this is a big day for me. So going for my 7th consecutive POD win here on Let's Bet It.
That's wild.
Well, that would tie the all-time mark. Granted, we've only been doing the show for 2.5, 3 months, but still tie the all-time mark.
To be exact.
Oh, wow. I like that. You counting?
I put that at the top of I know. So it's week 13 for NFL.
I like that.
It's week 13 for us.
It's true. We did start the same week as the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to we have to keep track of when our 100th show is. We'll have to do a
little party.
Yeah, a little party. But myself and Alex Glaze both got to 7 earlier this year. No further though. 7 was our max. So I'm trying to equal that tonight. Going to the ice. Canucks Canadians under 5.5. I don't like betting unders in hockey, but this one stood out. Line moved from 6 to 5.5 overnight. And again, the only people that are betting NHL totals overnight are smart people that are not the public. Now, the Canadians have been giving up a lot of goals lately, which scares me. 22 over their last 5 games. But they're at home, and the Canucks have not been scoring very many goals. They've scored 2 goals or less in 4 straight games. And I actually like the goalie matchup here. Allen's been playing a little bit better. Thatcher Demko for Vancouver is, he's been kind of hit or miss this year, but the under's 1-4 for Vancouver in their last 5. And again, that odds movement was pretty telling for me. So I'll take it. I'm only laying 8 cents, minus 108 on FanDuel right now. 5.5 under Canucks Canadians. Hope for a very low scoring game. We'll get to 7 straight POD wins on the ice. Let's go.
I'm sending good vibes your way, Jared. Send them your way. Number
no
7
goals.
tonight.
No
Lucky
goals.
number 7, baby. Lucky
No
number
goals.
7. All right, Jim, who you got for tonight?
So you know what? I'll go NBA tonight, believe it or not. This is a good one. I'm a huge into the basketball.
Yeah.
I like the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. They're playing really well right now, giving 4 to Indiana, who just played last night. The T-Wolves really are playing well. The Sixers aren't obviously healthy right now, but had a good game against them the other night. Towns and Edwards, these guys are monster athletes. I can't get enough watching with how hard those guys play. I love teams coming off that, Pacers playing last night. Timberwolves didn't. Lauren, NBA, we know how that goes in back-to-backs. Yeah. I like the Timberwolves tonight as my best play.
Jim, you're hot too. You've hit 3 straight PODs.
Yeah, I've been happy with. I know. I'm really happy with the streak. I was going to go Washington football team, but I think I'm just going to go Minnesota. I love it.
Maybe someone else on the show will pick Washington.
That's kind of where I was thinking. So,
Jared, how many have I hit in the road?
Let me look right now. Let's look. You've hit 3 in a row.
Right now?
Yes. Lord, you hit Michigan on Saturday, even though you gave out Michigan Friday and Saturday. You only get one. You only get one for that. No, you only get
really
one.
Quick, just before we say anything else, let's freaking go blue, you guys. I'm saying it right here. We're going to the college football playoff, and I am never.
Don't say that. You have to win one more game. Do not say. And Iowa has been like the luckiest team in college football this year.
Wisconsin. I would have felt better if you were playing Wisconsin or playing Iowa. It's totally fine.
They're a very well-coached team. Kirk Ferentz, very, very well-coached team. So I would be careful
Michigan
with.
Michigan has it right now, though, guys.
They do, but Iowa's defense is really good.
That game against Ohio State, I'm like, this is the year.
You just bully. They just bullied them.
This is the year. Even after McNamara threw that pick. Also, why are we throwing it instead of running it?
You texted our group chat, and then the next play was a pick.
Like literally,
you're like, yeah, go blue, and then interception. You're like,
When you have Corum and Haskins, why are we throwing the ball? And it's snowing. Why are we throwing the ball?
That was such a great Big Ten game.
Is that literally not what I said, Jared? I said all that Michigan has to do is 1, run the ball, and 2, Cade McNamara can't lose them the game. Just be consistent. Just protect the ball and don't throw any interceptions. Guess what? Like 30 seconds later.
She literally texted our group chat, like, go blue, LFG, and then, like, the next play was the pick.
I know. So, you know what? I'm not going to say that Michigan's going to win this weekend.
Do not say that yet. Although they're favored by 11. They should win. They should win. But you've won 3 in a row PODs. You only get 1 for the Michigan game. You don't get 2 for that. That's cheating. Yeah. But you hit the Avs and the Lightning last week.
Cash this one because this one's going to win tonight. I have Washington. Go team. I wish I had a hat that said go team and one of those foam fingers. Number 1. I have them laying 1 in this one. I don't think they're favored by enough in this game, to be honest with you. Wilson is not right, no matter how many times he says he is. Seattle's offense has been abysmal since his return. 13 total points, 1 touchdown in 19 drives, 474 total yards in 2 games. 2 games. That's pretty crazy. Something is off. The season's basically over for the Seahawks. You guys were talking about it, basically cashing it at this point because something's just not working with them. They're 3-7 playing in the best division in football right now. Washington, on the other hand, they've had a resurgence. They've found Jesus or something. Back-to-back wins against the Bucs and the Panthers. Taylor Heineke might be my favorite quarterback right now in the NFL. I'm actually thinking about ordering one of his jerseys, even though I'm not.
You don't wear jerseys. You make fun of us for wearing jerseys.
Here's the thing: is when I'm betting, I buy all in on a bet. So you know what I mean? I love Taylor Heineke. I'm wearing a jersey. I have my styrofoam finger tonight.
Go team.
78% of his passes, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks in 2 wins these last couple of weeks. If Washington can continue that streak right now, get past Seattle, it has the Raiders next week, then finishes with 5 straight against NFC.
2 against Dallas. They can still win this division.
That's what I'm saying. They basically control their own destiny at this point. I'm going to take my chances with a lot hotter team and what is basically a toss-up game, but not really. This is a full-on pick. It's not just a lean in a pick-em game. So,
all right, I'm going to tell you here because I like the movement definitely says Washington's the sharper side tonight.
Taylor Heineke. I'm
going to tell you.
He's it. That's it.
You're going for your 4th straight POD win. You're still kicking all of our asses 13 weeks in. You're up 13.6 units in 13 weeks. I'm up 5. Alex is up 2.8. Granted, Alex hasn't had as many bets as we have. We've been doing the show a little bit more. And Jim's hot right now. He's won 3 in a row. The only one that's in minus units right now is AO. We got to get AO's numbers up a little bit.
AO, yeah, we need to get him going. We need to get
Mega
him going.
O. Mega O.
Okay,
Mega O. I love that nickname. I love that nickname.
Okay, before we go, we have one more question from the chat right now. If the Pats beat the Bills this week, they would seemingly be the favorites to win the division. So at plus 144 to win Monday, would that be the bet versus plus 100 to win the division?
Absolutely. Well, I put that in the column last week.
Yeah.
At this point, because the odds have moved so much for New England, the only way to get true value out of them to win the division is to mechanical parlay their money lines for the last 5 weeks. They probably need to beat the Bills both times to win the division. I think if they split, I think Buffalo probably wins it because they'd still be ahead and they wouldn't have a tiebreaker. So I think New England has to win both of those games, and you get a plus money line this week that's longer than the division odds. That is absolutely the way to play it. Very smart by Tim at 3. Mechanical parlay the Pats if you think they're going to win the division. That's how you do it.
That's good.
Love it. Love it, guys. It's been such a fun show today. We got a lot of bets going on tonight. So can't wait to get us all in a group chat and talk to each other throughout the entire day.
The Monday Fun Day group chat.
I know. Jared is so funny because he's so supportive of me, and then I get Alex Glaze in there.
Alex just likes to chirp.
We were like 8 minutes into the Michigan-Ohio State game. He goes, I'm just going to the driving range right now. This is a blowout.
He was not happy.
Over. It's like not even the end of the first quarter yet. Alex goes, I'm going to the driving range. It's 30 degrees. I don't even freaking care. I'm going to the driving range. I'm like, Alex, you need to just breathe. Breathe.
How can you miss it? Like, it was a great game. Like, even if I lose a bet, if the game is like that was like an idyllic Big Ten game. Like the snow and everything. Like, just enjoy it. Like, you're not going to win every bet. You're going to lose.
Oh, don't worry. I enjoyed it.
I know you did.
Fully. Love it. Go blue, baby. All right. On that note, we're done for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. We want to hear your picks. We want you to tell us about our picks. We want to get you involved. 10 a.m. every day Eastern time. So guess what? We'll be back tomorrow, Taco Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Good luck with your bets tonight. Jared Smith, Jim Monis, Lauren Jabara. Have a great one. Let's get it. Let's bet it. Almost forgot that.